The Right Dress, a play by Maggie Merritt. Act 1, Scene 1, Brunhilde's bedroom. At Rise, Brunhilde sits on a chaise lounge in her bedroom, sighing dramatically into a hand mirror. She wears a sloppy pink bathrobe, curlers in her hair, and bunny slippers. The room is over-decorated and cluttered.
Another night, another silent supper for one. Surrounded by all this, but utterly, utterly alone. Brunhilde, darling, you've hit rock bottom. No friends, no invitations, and even the chipmunk who stole your croissant this morning looked at you with pity.
Brunhilde drops the mirror disparagingly into her lap. Suddenly, Fairy Godmother pops into the room amidst a puff of glitter and twinkles. She's a bit disheveled, with the tip of her wand slightly askew. Her smile, however, is warm and friendly.
Did someone say utterly alone and despair? Sounds like my kind of party. Fairy Godmother, at your service. Although you're supposed to be weeping in cinders, not so much chase lounging.
Fairy Godmother! Why, you're Cinderella's fairy godmother. Oh, thank goodness, I need your help.
Hold your horses, dearie. Are you in distress? Lost a glass slipper? Forced to peel potatoes? Honestly, I'm a bit out of practice with the whole rescue thing. I mostly help squirrels find nuts these days. Very fulfilling, you know.
No, worse. I'm the mean stepsister and nobody likes me. I have zero friends. My life is a social wasteland. I'm just utterly miserable.
A social wasteland. Yes, I see. So you want to be, let me guess, a princess?
Yes, I want to be a princess just like Cinderella. Everybody loves Cinderella. Can you make me like Cinderella?
Hmm, fuzzy pink bathrobe, bunny slippers? I think I can work with that. But first things first, of course, and that would be a dress.
Fairy Godmother gets a bit distracted looking at the crooked tip of her wand as she plans out the perfect princess dress for Brunhilde.
But I already have a closet full of dresses. How's
I
that going to
understand.
help?
I understand, dearie, but you probably don't have a magical dress. Oh, bibbity bobbity boo!
Oh,
With another puff of glitter and sparkles, Brunhilde stands transformed into a magical new dress, only it's enormous. Seriously oversized, made of bright pink taffeta with massive puff sleeves and an impractical train that seems to fill the room. Brunhilde looks down, not sure what to think.
Ta-da! Magnificent, isn't it? Fit for royalty. Now, go on, dearie. Be a princess.
okay, but it's a bit big, isn't it? And hot. I can't exactly move.
Details, details. This is the perfect dress. Very attention grabbing, to say the least.
If you say so. Now what?
Now it's time to do some good deeds. Follow me.
Act 1, Scene 2. Fairy Godmother leads Brunhilde into the garden. Maybe just flower props or a painted background.
Look, Brunhilde, these roses look droopy. Why don't you water them like a good princess?
Fairy Godmother hands Brunhilde a watering can. Brunhilde reaches for the can but trips on her dress and splashes water everywhere.
Oh, this thing is heavy. Oh, my dress is getting wet. I don't think gardening is my thing.
I understand. Perhaps we should find something else? Why, look, there's a bird with a broken wing. Princesses are always compassionate.
Fairy Godmother points to a toy bird with a fake bandaged wing hopping along the ground.
Oh, you poor thing. Let me help.
Brunhilde lunges towards the bird, but is overcome by the voluminous dress. She falls headlong into a flower bed. The bird flies away, maybe pulled off stage by an invisible spring.
Brunhilde, dear, are you all right? Boy, that bird recovered remarkably quickly.
Oh, boy, this princess thing is harder than it looks. I wonder how Cinderella does it.
What we need is a change of scenery. Let's go into town and find someone to help. Princesses love to help people.
Act 1, Scene 3. Fairy Godmother and Brunhilde are downtown, standing outside a soup kitchen. Sounds of townspeople murmuring in the background can be heard.
Look, Brunhilde, a soup kitchen. People in need. Let's go inside and help.
Fairy Godmother steers Brunhilde inside to a pot of pretend soup. Still in her oversized dress, Brunhilde approaches the soup with trepidation, or should I say, trepidation.
I sure hope this works. I still don't feel very princessy.
Brunhilde reluctantly reaches for the large soup ladle and begins to pour soup into a bowl, but her dress gets in the way, and she stumbles, spilling pretend soup on herself and splashing an imaginary townsperson.
Oh, my dress! I just splashed somebody. Oh, this is terrible. I'm never going to be a princess.
Brunhilde drops the soup ladle into the pot and bumps the table in her haste to escape. The table teeters precariously. Fairy Godmother catches it just in time. Fairy Godmother chases after Brunhilde and guides her to a bench outside.
My dear, this princess lesson is not going very well. I think it's time to call in an expert.
Fairy Godmother sits Brunhilde down, then steps aside and waves her wand with a twinkle and a puff. A spotlight, or a change in lighting, shines from above, and Cinderella enters looking simply beautiful and wearing a radiant smile.
Cinderella, darling, you came. Brunhilde here wants to become a princess just like you, but she needs your help now, not mine.
Fairy Godmother steps aside and vanishes, letting Cinderella do her magic as she waves goodbye.
Hello, Brunhilde. It's been a while. What can I do to help?
Cinderella bends down to hug Brunhilde, who's still sitting on the bench, but Brunhilde's puffy dress gets in the way. Cinderella takes Brunhilde's hands and squeezes them gently instead.
I'm tired of being bossy stepsister. I want to be a princess, but nothing seems to work. Fairy Godmother tried to help, but that didn't even work either. And now I just don't know what to do.
It's time, my friend, for you to hear the truth. As you know, when father died, I was left under the care of a stepmother and two stepsisters who couldn't care less that I was the daughter of a king. I was a princess, but no one treated me like one.
Oh, I never thought of it that way.
But that's not the end of the story. Even though I was treated like a servant, I knew father loved me and would take care of me forever.
But how could he take care of you after he died?
Well, he left me a will. It was signed and sealed with his signet ring, and I was named his beneficiary.
What? No one ever told me about that. I thought you were a princess because you married a prince.
No, the prince came for me because I was already a princess. He had to search for me because stepmother disguised me as a servant.
But why would she do that?
Stepmother didn't believe that I deserved to be royalty. She didn't think I would ever be good enough.
Oh. But you don't become a princess because you're good enough. You're a princess because your father is king.
That's exactly right. Stepmother wanted to believe I was an unwanted servant girl, but I knew father loved me. If I had believed stepmother, I would have never gone to the ball, and the prince would have never found me.
Wow. But how does that help me? I'm not the daughter of a king.
But of course you are. You're just as much as father's daughter as I am.
But I'm only his stepdaughter. I mean, you're his real daughter.
That doesn't matter. In father's eyes, the only difference between us is that I know him better, so it's easier for me to believe his love.
But no one ever told me that father loves me.
Stepmother never told you because she was too busy trying to make you look like a princess.
That's for sure. Mother was always trying to squeeze me into these dresses that were too small and trying to make me someone that I wasn't.
That's because stepmother doesn't know father like I do. To her, he's a bossy king that's hard to please. He loves her, but she doesn't believe it.
That's sad. Very sad. But why didn't you tell me?
I did tell you, but you weren't paying attention. You were listening to stepmother instead of me, so I had to show you with my actions. Don't you remember that I was always kind to you, even when father was less than kind? Or even when you were less than kind to me. That's how I showed you father's love.
I do remember. You were very loving. But you're right. I was too busy trying to please Mother to notice.
Well, now you know. Father loves you just like he loves me.
But why would he love me? He doesn't even know me.
But of course he does. Father knows everyone in his kingdom, especially his children.
Oh, Cinderella, I want to believe that. But how can I be sure?
That's the easy part. All you have to do is read his will. You will find that your name is written as a beneficiary, just like mine. Every one of Father's children is written in that will. No one is left out.
With these words, Fairy Godmother pops back into the room with the customary puff of sparkles and twinkles.
Well, hello again, my dearies. Glad to see my two favorite princesses reacquainted again.
Oh, somehow, Fairy Godmother, I get the feeling that you've known all along that I'm just as much as a princess as Cinderella. I think you and Cinderella have been rooting for me this whole time.
Yep, you've always been a princess, but you had to grow up to receive your inheritance, just like Cinderella did.
Oh,
Cinderella
I
and
believe
Fairy Godmother exchange knowing smiles.
I believe you, but I don't feel very grown up.
Well, you are. You grew up when you got tired of stepmother bossing you around. If you think about it, stepmother treated you just as severely as she did me. Yes, she took good care of you, but she was never really pleased with you. She was always trying to shove your feet into glass slippers that didn't fit.
Why, I couldn't have said it better myself. Brunhilde, my dear, I think it's time to begin receiving your inheritance. Ladies, stand back.
Cinderella and Brunhilde take a step backwards as Fairy Godmother unleashes a second round of magic with a wave of her star-studded wand. At the sound of a trumpet, Brunhilde's puppy pink dress is placed a radiant white gown, and strangely enough, it looks very much like the gown Cinderella wore on her wedding day. Brunhilde's prince is on his way.
Now we know the rest of the story. So our last piece is Maggie's The Right Dress.
Oh, well done.
Well
Well done,
done.
Reyna.
Well
Well done,
good. Really
Elizabeth.
good.
How,
Well done, Hayley, who's
how did that work for you without having, a person being the director?
Difficult
Really?
for me.
I thought, considering that Maggie wasn't here, I thought it went very well. Everyone did a wonderful job, and I was very impressed with the other gals that, and having Zev step in cold, it was just, everyone did a wonderful job, I thought.
Yeah, excellent.
I was surrounded by talented actors. I was the one who jumped in cold, and I had to read it a few times over very quickly, really, as we were doing it, to realize I needed to be far more campier at first. I think I did okay, but Maggie, your absence was noted. I can't believe we all did that by ourselves. The absence of a director, it's something that makes me worry as an actor, and sometimes you can get through it, but here it was, I wish she could have, but we got through it thanks to
I'm sure
marvelous.
she'll be pleased with it when she sees the recording. I'm sure
I think she'll be happy with it. I do.
Absolutely. It was seamless. Didn't seem unrehearsed. There was no issues. It was very well acted. It was wonderful.
Is it Reyna or?
Yes.
Reyna,
Yes.
I thought you did a beautiful job.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you brought pathos to the character, not just, the campiness that it could be. And I just felt that beauty inside, the heart that came with wanting what you wanted and needing what you needed. It was beautiful. It was lovely how you did the role.
I so appreciate that. I want to bring tears to my eyes. I have not done a Zoom with this group, so it was a new experience for me. And every script that comes my way, there's always some relevance to it. My father passed. I don't want to get into all of that, but I was just like, we're dealing with, beneficiaries and such. And I was like, wow, and the shadow and the light within each and every one of us. I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to have read this, and with Fairy Godmother and Cinderella did a fantastic job. And so thank you. And Zev. So I really appreciate that compliment. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah, and I thought the dialogue between the two stepsisters was so wonderful and revealing that I empathized with her. I really did. And a wonderful job.
So I wonder why she didn't bring in the second stepsister.
That's a very good question. I was
10 minutes.
There you go.
I think one stepsister's enough, surely.
The other stepsister is still trying to prove herself to her mom, or listening to the mother, maybe. Who knows?
No, I agree. I agree with Elizabeth. The conversation between the two sisters, yeah, it was lovely. And one lifting the other. Yeah. You were so down and you just wanted to find a way to kind of reach that point of contentment, I'm going to call it, rather than happiness. And she was trying her level best to get you there. And I thought that was quite a poignant moment, and it was a great scene. And it's the first time, Reyna, I've seen you act, and kudos to you. Well done. You were great. I enjoyed watching you. Yeah. And pity Hayley's not here, because I would have said the same to Hayley as well. Hayley, you were great. If you're watching the recording, you were great.
Are you telling me you haven't seen Reyna and the Breakup King?
No, I haven't. This is the first time I've seen Reyna act.
Okay. Okay. She got Best Actress in that.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Brilliant. And I'm not surprised.
Stephen,
thank you so much. And
what was
the breakout? What are you referring
to?
The Breakup King. It was a play that I wrote for Reyna and for Henry Graham.
Oh, really?
And it was performed down in Maryland by video at the Amazing Theater 10-Minute Play Festival, and it got best screenplay, best play, and best actress.
That was just
Fabulous.
posted on
Brilliant.
Facebook, right?
Thank
just posted
you.
that with Henry.
Brilliant.
Did you just post that?
Yeah,
I want to
yes,
break up with
that
you,
was
but it's not really.
yes.
It's so funny. Oh my God.
That was so
fun.
much fun. That
Oh,
was so
I'm gonna
much
have a
fun.
look.
Hilarious idea. I just loved it. It was so beautifully acted too. He was hilarious too. You both were. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
And
going to look out
oh,
for it now.
one other thing I want to say about this play we just read is just, you know, the subconscious mind, all those programs of not being good enough or all this, but just that inner struggle I just thought was so well captured in the writing of this piece. So I just want to say thank you, Maggie, who's going to be listening to the recording, for this
Yeah, well done
opportunity.
to her.
I think all of us artistes, maybe I'm completely wrong, we're kind of perfectionists and hard on each other, or hard on ourselves. And that's maybe a thread that we all share. I don't know, maybe I'm just, you're all so good.
Oh, so are you. Without you, we're lost. Without you, the words aren't coming off the pages.
Oh, no.
You're so brilliant. It's great to just watch everyone. Even, I'm going to say live Zoom, and then you have the recording. And then I don't know if anybody else does the same thing. You watch it again and again, and you think, oh my God, this is great.
I love this group there. Everybody's so nice. It's a nice group. Thank you, Stephen.
Well, Susan, maybe eventually I'll be able to write something for you and you'll actually be able
To do it. I know.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Stephen, this time almost.
Yes. Yeah.
But I enjoyed the take on the last piece, where we saw the softer side of the stepsister. We don't usually see that, and so it's just an interesting juxtaposition to see. I thought maybe Cinderella was going to be mean. It was really lovely. Just a very different take on the fairy tale that we all know, and the performances were fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh,
All the performances.
You can be my fairy godmother anytime, Elizabeth.
Very well done. Well done.
yeah,
I loved your wand. There we go. There we go.
Do you
Brilliant.
think Broomhilda should have had more remorse? Maybe had come to a realization how bad she had been towards Cinderella, and now she was paying for it by being alone and not.
That did occur to me. I mean, in the writing, obviously, not in the acting part of it. I mean, that where was the I had been awful to you. That admission was not part of the writing play, but I did think about that. I don't know if anybody else did, but
the only in the writing, from what I recall, because I put the script away, the only part was when I say in the beginning with the fairy godmother, I'm tired. Or in the beginning when I say I'm tired of being the bossy, mean sister or stepsister. That was the only admission of that she was mean, and then the acknowledgement that you were always loving to me, but really no apology or I didn't. I mean, again, I enjoyed the script and everything, but I'm just feeding off what you're speaking about on. Would you have wanted more remorse? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it's like we've come into your character, you've already changed. And to me, there should have been some type of arc to that point where it's like your realization that your life is the way it is because of what you did in the past.
Right.
I just felt, because I mean, you're the evil stepsister. It's sort of like, but in this particular play, you're not at all the evil stepsister. So.
Well, there's just the unworthiness of who am I? Father doesn't love me like he loves you. So there is a sense of unworthiness from coming from that. Usually underneath every sort of meanness or anger is that sadness, or just anyways, you're saying the transition. I'm wondering where that would have played nicely.
Or even as you're talking about.
I don't know what she was going for, because I, like many of us, have worked with Maggie on several productions, and I noticed a lot of her work can be Christian coded, and I don't know why, but I can clock it within 2 seconds. And I've spoken to her about this, and she was relieved when I was the one who figured it out so quickly. I am not Christian, but I spent a lot of time around evangelicals because I didn't have any friends, and they said, "Do you want to hang out?" And yeah, I did, and that's how I was introduced to it. I never converted, didn't want to. Anyway, we're different people, but I recognized the coding. It took a sharp turn from, yeah, I feel really bad within the context of this campy play. So if you had a sharp shift of I feel really, really bad, that would be a tone difference. And the sudden shift of beneficiaries, and he left a will, and then in the script, what none of you saw was father was capitalized, and
Yes,
then he
I saw that.
Okay, this is about Jesus.
Yes,
All right. I feel like I know
saw
what she's doing. The camp, and then, to me, a little bit more blunt, Jesus loves you. That may have been what she was going for. Maggie, please correct me if I'm way off. That's what
No, I don't think you're way off. I think I read it just because it was posted on LAPR, and I was just curious. And then when I saw that all he and him were all capitalized, I realized that it was taking a shift toward the father being the father, and he loving all his children.
Right.
Became evangelical. So I was just,
maybe not evangelical. Well, I don't know. I don't know the difference. Anyway,
I'm not sure. I'm just
really fast. I don't know the difference between evangelical and mainstream
I'm
anymore.
not sure evangelical, but I think that the father was more of a
Yeah.
divine
The
presence.
Heavenly Father, yeah.
Heavenly Father.
Oh yeah,
So-
I totally align with that. And,
Really?
and yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I personally align with that. Just the inherent goodness in each and everyone, and to be open to receive. I mean, so I do align with the script, and I got that from the get-go when I read the script, and that's why I even aligned with it more so. When we have the false narratives that limit who we are, or the self-critic, but that's just my belief systems.
I feel quite a bit
when
better.
it became like
pointing
the
that out. I
fairy
was worried
tale.
that I was kind of weirdo.
Right.
I missed that.
No, I feel better that everyone else is talking about it. I thought that me pointing that out would mean I'm some kind of weirdo, but if you see the capital H's, then yeah, the discussions about the kingdom, maybe I'm not so far off.
I just want to know
That's
when Maggie was.
Interesting that you were able to pull that out. Now, me not being a religious person, didn't see
So
that at all.
I just had evangelical friends for a little while. That's the only reason I'm able to do it.
Just because it was written the way it was written with capitalizations, that's the only reason I saw it. But I also wondered why Maggie, if Maggie was trying to tell us the story of the actual fairy tale, and when did Brunhilde really want her prince? I was trying to figure out where it was interlocking.
And where's the crossover?
Yeah, where was the crossover between the divine love and the actual wanting to be a princess? The fairy godmother could give her what she wanted to be as a princess with a prince, and what the divine love of the father give her. I guess I was just trying to figure that out.
Right. And it could be like a Bible story that I'm not familiar with, that she was patterning it after, that was suitable to put into a Cinderella picture, but I don't know.
I was just trying to figure it out. I was going to ask Maggie if she was here. But.
Was it Queen? Oh, sorry. Sorry, who did I just jump in before somebody wanted to say something?
Oh,
I was just thinking, wasn't there, and I could be wrong, totally wrong, wasn't there a Queen Brunhilde who was tortured? I have no idea.
Like from the Bible, you mean, or?
No, probably. Well, I don't know, but a long time ago in history, a Queen Brunhilde, or maybe I've got it wrong. I could be wrong.
And what happened? She was something. You said something about
tortured.
Tortured?
Yeah, a long time ago. I don't
Is that
know.
wicked?
I don't know. Yeah, the only Brunhilde.
Well, the word
Brunhilde
torture would suggest it
Conqueror
is
of
wicked.
Austria, part of Francia, by marriage to the king of the Moravian king Siebert of, and regent for her. Okay, she was royalty. You're right. Something to do with France.
Okay, European.
Murdered, a conflict, bitter feud, murdered. Yes, she was killed.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm shouting. I just sometimes get really excited when I find things on the internet. I'm able to follow
It's just a long time ago I came across it and I just thought, hang
I
on,
thought it
Brunhilde,
sounded familiar
Queen.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we both found it.
Yeah, the only Brunhilde I know is from The Ring of the Nibelung.
Right. I was going to ask you because I know you love Wagner, so right.
Right.
That's too long to watch.
Oh my God.
I agree.
Yeah, that's why people try to condense it and just make it an orchestration that lasts for only an hour instead of whatever it is, 20 hours.
9 or billion.
Yeah.
But back to what you were saying about waiting for the prince. It's like you're not waiting for someone to save you, or I guess, or a man. In some ways, it's empowering women to really step into your own queendomship or your own power, versus waiting for, you're a princess because you got a prince taking care of you. I mean, that's the way I read that to be.
Yeah.
But really claim your own empowerment
Yeah,
and living your life.
I was going to write a children's fairy tale. It was called The Giant and the Cabbage Patch. And it involves at one point a person who used to be a prince but had been transformed into a stable boy by the wicked giant. And it involved three sisters who also, two of them cross over and are under the power of the wicked giant also, but the third sister is not. And when I was talking about it with my daughter, she says, whatever you do, don't have her marry the prince.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I decided not to do. He actually, in the play, offers, and she goes, nah, don't need it.
Yeah, that's great. Kudos to your daughter. Well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Great
good.
idea.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's so predictable.
Right. And she was the strong sister. She didn't need a prince to save her. She ends up saving the prince.
Men do need saving on some level.
Because we keep getting our own way.
No comment.
There's the truth.